Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Today Latest news. What's happening right now in the global financial scene has the entire world paying attention. Analysts, investors, and insiders are all on edge as new developments unfold that could reshape how currencies are valued around the world. At the center of this growing story is none other than Donald Trump. His recent move, described by many experts as bold and disruptive, is stirring deep discussion in global markets. The focus has shifted from political rallies to financial reform, and the big question circulating among observers is what this means for countries like Iraq, especially for the future of the Iraqi dinar. The changes being discussed aren't rumors or speculation this time. They reflect ongoing shifts in international policy and banking systems that suggest something substantial is in motion. Across major financial hubs, from New York to London, Frankfurt to Dubai, quiet adjustments are reportedly taking place inside banking systems. These are not public announcements but internal preparations, the kind that usually precede major global changes. According to several financial analysts, institutions are updating currency monitoring systems, modifying compliance codes, and reviewing categories tied to Middle Eastern assets. None of this guarantees an immediate change, but it shows clear anticipation of a realignment in currency structures. What's fascinating is that Iraq's dinar, a currency long considered undervalued, seems to be receiving renewed interest as these updates unfold. The renewed attention follows reports that Trump's economic advisors have been advocating what they call a fair value currency framework. In simple terms, it's an idea that currencies should represent the tangible wealth of a nation, its oil, minerals, gold, and production capacity, rather than being tied primarily to debt systems. Under such a model, countries rich in natural resources could see their currencies strengthen as they align more closely with real-world value. Iraq, sitting atop some of the world's largest oil and gas reserves, naturally becomes a key country in this conversation, especially as it continues modernizing its financial infrastructure. For Iraq, this discussion arrives at an important moment. The Central Bank of Iraq has spent recent years reforming its structure, expanding transparency, and implementing new digital systems to comply with international standards. The nation's reserves are at some of the highest levels in its history, oil exports have stabilized, and new partnerships across Europe and Asia are opening fresh trade routes. With these foundations in place, Iraq's position in the potential shift toward fair value currencies becomes even more significant. Observers say that if the world does move toward resource-based valuation, Iraq could emerge as one of the nations most prepared for the transition. Meanwhile, quiet meetings between international banking representatives have fueled further speculation. Some reports describe high-level discussions about liquidity alignment and cross-border readiness, the kind of coordination that typically happens when markets prepare for a restructuring phase. While there are no public details, insiders note that banks don't conduct such meetings without purpose. What's clear is that multiple regions are testing their systems for potential rate adjustments and ensuring readiness for new international standards. It's not confirmation of an imminent revaluation, but it is evidence of active preparation in the global financial network. Iraq's current financial plans for 2025 and 2026 already include milestones for international activation and integration. These targets line up closely with the timeline experts believe could coincide with broader market reform. When you connect the dots, Trump's push for fair value currencies, Iraq's modernization efforts, and increased activity among global banks, a clearer pattern begins to emerge. This convergence of events suggests that major shifts in how world currencies are valued may not be theoretical for long. They may soon move from discussion to implementation, reshaping trade and finance worldwide. During his presidency, Trump repeatedly emphasized fair trade, currency stability, and balanced global economics. His latest actions appear to expand on that philosophy, seeking to align financial systems with real productivity and tangible resources. This isn't about any single nation. It's about rethinking how global value is measured. For countries like Iraq, this could signal the opportunity to move beyond decades of economic constraint and into a new era of recognition and stability. Many analysts believe the outcome could bring balance to markets that have long favored debt-driven systems over production-based economies. Large financial institutions are not ignoring these signals. Banks such as Chase, Wells Fargo, and Deutsche Bank have reportedly been upgrading their systems to accommodate new data fields for currencies that were once restricted or considered low volume. Some have built internal testing environments for the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong, currencies that historically have been limited in international circulation. While these updates are routine in some cases, the timing and coordination across multiple global banks are notable. In finance, preparation nearly always comes before public change, making these behind-the-scenes adjustments worth watching closely. For Iraq, this global momentum aligns with its efforts to stabilize domestically. The government has been working to strengthen fiscal management, enhance digital security, and expand trade relationships beyond traditional partners. The central bank's digital dinar initiative is nearing completion, a move aimed at making transactions faster, safer, and more transparent. All of these steps reflect Iraq's determination to rejoin the international financial community on stronger terms. Whether a broader currency realignment occurs or not, these reforms are already positioning Iraq for greater global participation. What makes this period unique is how multiple factors are aligning simultaneously. You have global calls for monetary fairness, technological innovation in finance, political shifts, and countries like Iraq modernizing at a rapid pace. Experts suggest that the world may be entering a phase similar to the post-World War II restructuring, only this time with digital infrastructure and real asset verification at the core. Blockchain tracking, electronic settlement systems, and transparency tools are transforming how nations handle reserves and trade. In that environment, Iraq's resource wealth becomes not just an advantage but a foundation for long-term credibility. Trump's renewed engagement in the international economic arena is influencing how analysts view this potential shift. His push for fair value alignment resonates particularly with oil-producing nations that have been seeking greater recognition for their natural resource contributions. Across the Middle East, countries are diversifying their economies while still emphasizing their asset-based strength. For Iraq, this balance could be transformative, maintaining its energy dominance while expanding industrial and technological sectors to support sustained growth in a globalized economy. Still, it's important to understand that changes of this scale take time. Large-scale financial transitions require coordination between central banks, international regulators, and national governments. Systems must be tested, policies aligned, and data integrated before any public action can occur. The fact that global institutions are already preparing shows anticipation, but not necessarily immediacy. Observers suggest that Iraq's budget cycles, digital currency rollout, and global compliance programs all align toward late 2025 into 2026, a period likely to mark visible shifts in the country's financial operations. From an international perspective, this broader discussion isn't limited to Iraq. It represents a potential turning point in how value is defined in the modern world economy. If the push toward asset-based valuation continues, nations rich in natural and industrial resources could gain influence, while those relying heavily on debt models may face structural adjustments. Such a transformation would redefine trade relationships, exchange rates, and even geopolitical strategies. Iraq, standing at the crossroads of East and West, could play a pivotal role in bridging energy supply, trade, and finance. Experts emphasize the importance of accurate information during such periods. Rumors and unverified claims often circulate rapidly online, particularly regarding currency rates or insider timelines. The most reliable source remains official communications from central banks and internationally recognized financial authorities. For Iraq, following updates directly from the central bank and Ministry of Finance remains the most dependable way to understand the country's economic trajectory. Transparency and patience are key as markets adapt to emerging realities. The potential global realignment would not only impact currencies but also how nations interact economically. A shift toward resource-backed valuation could encourage more sustainable trade policies and reduce the influence of speculative capital. Transparency in commodity-backed finance could, in theory, bring greater stability to developing economies. Iraq's continued progress toward international standards, coupled with its significant oil and mineral reserves, places it in a strong position to participate in this evolving system. Historically, large currency adjustments have often followed periods of political or economic transformation. The post-World War II agreements, for example, established a foundation for global recovery through stable trade systems. Today's conversation around fair value currencies mirrors that same goal but adapts it for a digital age. Iraq's integration into this framework, through modernization, transparency, and diversification, reflects how much progress has been made since the days of economic isolation and instability. As the conversation expands, it's clear that global attention is once again turning toward Iraq. The combination of internal reform and external opportunity makes the nation one to watch closely in the coming years. Banks are adjusting, governments are reevaluating trade policies, and international analysts are tracking every step. The direction points toward a rebalanced system where value is measured by output and resources rather than speculation. That vision, if realized, could redefine economic relations for decades. The most important message for viewers and observers alike is to remain informed, not reactive. Large-scale changes in finance happen gradually, often with years of groundwork before results become visible. Staying updated through verified sources ensures clarity amid speculation. For those following Iraq's journey, the next phase will likely highlight its transformation from recovery to global relevance, a story rooted in resilience and reform rather than rumor. Every major financial shift in history has begun quietly, with policy drafts, system tests, and coordinated adjustments that only later become public. What we're witnessing today may be the early stages of another such transformation. As banks upgrade, nations reform, and leaders promote new frameworks, the landscape of global finance is evolving before our eyes. Iraq stands at a key intersection in that evolution, reflecting both the challenges of the past and the possibilities of the future. The global financial system has always been shaped by cycles of innovation and adjustment. Whether or not Trump's initiative leads to a full-scale realignment, it has undeniably sparked worldwide discussion about fairness, transparency, and the value of real resources. Iraq's role in this story is growing stronger by the day, driven by reform, stability, and a determination to reclaim its economic standing. The coming years could reveal just how pivotal this moment truly is. That wraps up today's deep dive report from Iraqi Dinar Today Latest News. The world is watching, markets are adjusting, and Iraq continues to strengthen its foundation. We'll keep covering every major update as this global conversation develops. Stay tuned for verified reports and ongoing analysis as we move through one of the most closely observed periods in modern economic history.